Batch filming your social media content is a key component when it comes to staying consistent with uploads. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, it's basically where you spend a day making all of the content in one sitting for that week or 2 weeks. I feel like that was quite self-explanatory. Some creators swear by batch filming, and then there's some that don't like it at all. For me, in my experience, I found it to be super useful. So today we're going to be doing some batch filming. I'm going to take you through my entire process and hopefully you'll learn some tips along the way. So how do I come up with short form content ideas? Because if you're going to do batch filming, you need quite a few ideas. Well, this part is actually just always happening. It's not just like a one day thing. All I do is I have a Google Doc sheet on my phone and laptop, or you could use the Notes app. And whenever I come up with an idea, no matter where I am, I can just jot it down on my phone and then develop it at a later date. Let me show you. So this is literally just a Google Docs sheet. You can see like I've just put things like brand deals, social media template, old camera. Just like jot down a couple of words just so you remember it. In terms of actually coming up with the idea, there are a few things you can do. The first thing is think about what type of content you want to make. Think about what your niche is and then stick with that vibe. For example, my niche is filmmaking and photography. So I make content on my socials, a lot of top-down shots where I'm like showing an interesting camera thing. Another one is just like a simple clip of how to use a piece of camera gear, for example, an ND filter, that kind of thing. Basically just stick with your niche. I presume you've already got a niche. Another way of coming up with ideas is just simply looking at what other creators are making. Spend a bit of time scrolling through your feed and see what resonates with you. Maybe you see something that you could recreate, create your own version of. Don't worry too much about copying other creators. What I'm trying to say is find ideas through other creators and try and do it in your own way. Does that make sense? Use your common sense. So yeah, throughout the week, spend like 5 minutes a day just going through your feed and just look at what other creators are making, and you'll find that that actually sparks a lot of ideas in your head. And anytime you come up with one of those ideas, write it down. So once you've got all your ideas written down, spend like 5 minutes just organizing this page, because planning is like key when it comes to batch filming. So here, I'm just going to organize these ideas. I'm going to put them in their own sections, whether that's like top-down shots, outside filming, talking to camera, and I'm just going to put them in their own little section, because then you then know what you're filming. You can set up the camera for a top-down shot and then do all of those ones, and then you could go outside, set up your camera for that, and then do all of the ones outside. It's really simple, but it will help you a lot when it comes to when you're actually filming. Okay, let me kneel down so we can kind of go over this. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to be doing is the top-down shots. Now, all I've done is I've looked at that list that we've organized, and I'm now just doing all of the top-down shot reels. So how I've set this up, this might look a little bit technical, it might not, but let me quickly break this down, because it's really nothing too special. So basically what's holding the camera is just a mic stand that is strong enough to hold the camera. It's not a very heavy camera. The camera I'm using is the Sony a6700 with the Sigma 16mm f1.4, and that just allows me, if I show you here, it just allows me to get nice and close, and kind of has a blurry background. It's what's called like bokeh, so it just makes the product look really nice. Ignore that this is just a Rubik's Cube, I'm just using it as a prop. On the lens, I've got a mist filter, a 1/4 mist filter, and that basically just softens the light a bit more. It's kind of like a little secret hack that you can use to make your footage look a lot softer. Loads of people use mist filters. They're really useful. Then I'm using a magic arm to hold my external monitor. And this, I would recommend having an external monitor for top-down shots, because it's just easier to see what you're doing. Also, this monitor has something called false color, and that's basically like a scientific way of nailing your exposure. I think it's like a scientific way, I might be wrong there. So I will like turn false color on briefly just to see what the exposure's like, and then I'll turn it off, and then I'll just use that monitor just so that I can kind of see what I'm doing. And the last thing is the light. The Amaran 60X is what I'm using with the small rig 85-inch softbox with a honeycomb grid. So yeah, that is literally it when it comes to top-down shots. This is kind of quite technical, I guess. Like you could just, have a little tripod with an iPhone. It depends what kind of style you're going for. My niche is all about filmmaking and photography, so it needs to look good, basically. Okay, so let's move on to filming. This is the first thing that I'm filming. This is a $2,000 shotgun mic. It's not mine. We are filming, so I'm going to just smash this out now. I'm looking at this little screen and I'm also looking at the monitor as well. Cool, so that's pretty much that done. Nice and quick. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the next thing is this film camera, and I'm going to style this out using Kodak film as well to keep with the theme. Now I can take everything down and move on to the next thing. Okay, so I know that I'm very dark right now, and also I know that we're in portrait mode, bear with me. I've got a camera here which is showing you the monitor, and I just thought I'd quickly show you how I expose my talk to headpieces because you might find it useful as well. So one of the main things is expose for the light that you can't control. So this window light here, I can't control it, so I'm exposing the camera to that light, and then we'll add in artificial light. I'm looking at my false color here, and I would say we just need to tone this up a little bit. So you can see if I go really exposed, it's going orange, and then that means it's completely just blown out. So that's quite good, I would say. Okay, so I'm going to look at my false color monitor. I'm just gonna bring the light up a bit till we get a decent exposure. Okay, I'm starting to get a bit of pink on me. That is not too bad. So now I can see myself and I'm properly exposed, and I'm just kind of ready to go for a talking head piece. So let's move on to our talking head pieces. So the first thing I'm gonna do is the voiceover for the shotgun mic for that video. So I've got it all hooked up to a Zoom H6 and I can hear my audio here, so, okay. This is the DP. I'm actually freestyling this as well. I've not written this down. Normally, I would suggest you write down a script, but I just kind of know what I'm going to say anyway. So, yeah, sorry. This is a $2,000 microphone. It's the DPA 4011TL. So it's now time to do all of the POV stuff and the outside stuff. I won't go into loads of detail of what I'm doing exactly. In fact, I'll just show you some of the clips now because otherwise this video will just go on forever. So yeah. Okay, so we've finished filming, so all that's left to do is edit the video and come up with the captions. You might prefer to do this on another day if you run out of time. It depends kind of how much you're filming on the day. And it also depends how much editing you want to do. You know, if you want to add things like sound effects and transitions and stuff like that, it's going to take you longer. So just bear that in mind. That is pretty much how I spend a day batch filming my content for my socials. And, you know, it's a lot of fun. It can be a bit stressful. It can be a bit full on, but I promise you, the key really is planning. If you spend a little bit of time planning the day and really getting that down to a T, it will make the day when it comes to filming so much easier, so much more of a breeze and a lot more enjoyable. So if you've learned anything from this, it's definitely to make sure you plan what you're filming, what your day is going to be like, whether that is the type of content you're filming, the scripting, even though I didn't really do much scripting, the editing. A lot of the time you might consider the edit before you actually start filming. If you want to see any of the reels that I filmed today, then make sure you're following me on Instagram. It's the first link in the description. Also, thank you so much for 2,000 subscribers. Only 5 months ago, we hit 1,000. So, you know, 5 months later, we're at 2, and that is just awesome. Thank you all so much. Anyway, I hope today was useful. I hope you learned something. I know that it can be really intimidating when it comes to doing batch filming or just creating social media content in general. If you want to be consistent, but you don't have the time, it can be a nightmare. Trust me, I know from experience, and I'm sure you do as well. So just try and make some time to do a couple of reels in one sitting, and I promise you it will be so much better. Anyway, that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.